TikTok. Yeah. Or social media in general. But TikTok seems to be the fastest growing, I think, for the voiceover community, an audiobook narration, audiobook promotion. I've seen more traction there than I have with any other platform. Hence the discussion today. And as you guys know, if you've watched me more than once, you know that I'm always pushing you to get on there. Because I have seen a number of audiobook narrators just their careers just take off by doing just simple little recordings on TikTok. And then it slowly starts to snowball and you gain more followers, and then, you know, your reach spreads out into the interwebs, and, you know, I know. I can hear you guys going, "Yeah, but I don't want to show my face. My studio looks like garbage. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it." Well, you know what? Neither did I. Neither did I. It wasn't until I was pushed several times by my friend and former coach Anthony Pica to get onto YouTube. And I did. How long ago was that? 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, I started this channel. I didn't want to either. But what he told me made sense. I thought, there's already dozens of other voice artists and audiobook narrators on YouTube. What can I bring that's of value? And he said, perspective. You have a different perspective. You have a personality. You have a perspective about what you're doing, and your particular journey from where you started to where you want to go is, you know, different than most people's. And who knows who you could help along the way. And I said, you know what? That's a great idea. My point is that it's a little scary, especially if you're an introvert. Like myself, I'm a card-carrying introvert. But once you get over talking to yourself, which you do anyway as a voice artist and audiobook narrator, and just block out the thought that other people are going to be watching you, which is, I think, the hardest part. And then once you start to get into the habit of creating the content, and you start to build a community, then you'll want to make more content. You'll see that you're helping people. You'll start to see those comments. This is so interesting. I wanted to do this myself. How do I get started? Right? And then you'll start to, you know, your reach will spread out further and further, and you'll start to make content or connections with other audiobook narrators, and then in turn, more authors and businesses, and it just starts to snowball. So, all right, I get your point, Angela, but why? I mean, apart from the obvious, I've made a presentation for you. But first, let's see what you guys are saying in the comments, or in the poll, I should say. So we have about 34 votes right now. And of course, the question is, do you create TikTok content for narration or audiobook to promote your career as an audiobook narrator, or to promote the audiobooks that you are currently producing? 15% of you said yes, regularly. If you are, share what kind of feedback, what kind of traction, what is your experience so far with TikTok? 14% of you said sometimes I try, which is good, but we need to do more than try. And you know this. And today we're going to push you. 51% of you said no, but I know about it. So it's you that I'm talking to today. You in that 50%. 20% of you said had no clue. So good. I'm hoping that we can enlighten you a little bit today. All right. So let's get over to the presentation. So, and this is based on what I have seen on TikTok. Book talk. If you didn't know, there are several different subsections or subgroups in TikTok. You might have heard it before, where you might hear there's audiobook talk, book talk, author talk. There's, construction talk. There's bike talk. There's, every kind of niche or culture or interest has its own section of TikTok. So there is an audiobook talk, there is a book talk, there is an author talk. So those are the ones that we want to target. And book talk itself has reignited interests in audiobooks, because even books that were written a while back, and I know that We Were Liars, I think, was just a show on Netflix or something, but my point is that audiobooks are still gaining in popularity. They're becoming the preferred way to, take in books, to read books, right? Whether or not that's reading a book to you is a whole other topic, but we're ingesting books in one form is audiobooks, right? Okay. As we've talked about before, TikTok is a less polished version of Instagram. It's a come as you are platform. You don't have to be, you don't have to have the professional editing. You don't have to have all of your makeup and hair done. Your pictures don't need to be photoshopped and just perfect just so. Instagram. TikTok favors the unpolished, real, like gritty, hardcore, come as you are, like relatable content. So, and especially for audiobooks, I have seen more audiobook narrators sharing content or information on TikTok than I have Instagram. Maybe I'm just in the wrong places in Instagram. I don't know. But that's just what my experience is with TikTok. The narrator voiceover trend. You get to showcase your ability to narrate a book, to emote, to develop characters. And it doesn't have to be long sections. It can be short little 15-second little teasers. And what I would suggest is, as soon as you get an audiobook to produce, discuss with the rights holder what your intentions are. And your intentions are to create little clips of you recording this audiobook to generate buzz, especially if the book is royalty share, right? You want to generate buzz about the audiobook being produced, coming out, make it known that this book is becoming available soon. And you're also recording behind the scenes content. People love that behind the scenes content. They like to see how things are made. It's interesting. It's interesting to interact with someone and then hear the finished product later, or hear it as it's being produced. It's really, really cool. I think we lose sight of that and how cool our jobs are as audiobook narrators, right? The ASMR aspect. We forget that too. People enjoy the ASMR thing, right? Sometimes some particular voices have triggers for people, and it's soothing, it's calming, it's relaxing. It's another reason why people enjoy audiobooks. It's like someone talking to you, someone telling you a story. People enjoy that, right? And to hear it when it comes up on their feed as they're scrolling through, people like that. Hang on while I turn my air conditioner on, because it's hotter than Hades in here. Okay. And viewers gravitate toward an intimate storytelling tone. So I would even stick with more fiction reads that you could do either, but I think people enjoy the fiction reads more than the nonfiction reads. However, I don't think you should dismiss nonfiction for narrating. I think it works for either side. Engagement over polish. Raw, emotive readings outperform studio perfect content. People want to see you flub. They want to see you make mistakes. They want to see the decision-making process in the tones and in your retakes. They want to see that stuff. It's interesting. And then also your TikTok, when you record a video, think if you're in your studio and you have a webcam and you have a recording software like StreamYard, which is what I use, or you could use OBS, which is free to use, and then just record, segments of video and then take little snippets from that. And you could post that on all of the platforms if you wanted to, not just TikTok. I mean, it's a broader reach, right? Why not? Post it on Instagram, post it on YouTube Shorts, Reels, post it on everywhere. And then also use it for demos too. Indie creators often call out narrators, features, and clips. Hello, organic promotion, of course. So if you let your author know when you're going live or when you're posting this content, they can then duet it, they can repost it, they can shove it out further into the interwebs. The potential reach for each clip, if it's done correctly, could be humongous and just absolutely skyrocket your career just by creating a little bit of content. I don't know if you know these names, but I do on TikTok. They're growing fandoms. And what do publishers want? They want narrators with a big fandom because that means more sales, right? If they come with a built-in fandom. And don't tell yourself, well, nobody knows who the heck I am. Why in the heck? They all started somewhere. They all started at 0 followers, just like you, just like me, just like everyone else. But if you're committed to at least trying it and posting something maybe once or twice a week, and remember, you can like record a 30-minute video of you recording this book and then take snippets of that. If you don't want to go live, take snippets of that and then schedule those posts, once a day, a couple times a week, like I said. Right? It's not as time consuming as you would think it is. The voice excerpts, like we mentioned, behind the scenes, even warm-ups of you getting ready to record this audiobook. And you don't necessarily even need to show your face. That's another question I get. You could just have a shot of, maybe not the manuscript. That probably I wouldn't do the manuscript. But you could have a shot of maybe a static image. You could have a static image of your studio or of a nice picture of you, something like that, and then your audio behind it if you really don't want to show your face. But I recommend that you do. It creates more of a connection with the watcher to see your face, right? All right. Now, what sections do I use? Obviously, sections that are interesting, right? Drama, impact, something going on with the scene that's interesting, an emotional or a dramatic hook. And then your captions could, I hate to say clickbait, but it really does work, right? If you leave them sort of wondering, well, what is this about? That's interesting. When your character learns the truth or what they didn't hear is, stuff like that. Or you could just say, hey, I'm going live. This is the name of the book. And you can have a picture of perhaps the cover image, right? Everybody get excited. This book's coming out, kind of a thing. All right. So ultimately, TikTok is a demo reel on steroids. And then again, you could post that same snippet, not just on TikTok, but YouTube Shorts. You could even compile them and then make it in a larger video of like behind the scenes shorts compiled into one video and post that on YouTube, right? Short and emotional equals viral VO clips. I'm a voice actor, I swear I could speak. Your voiceover plus TikTok equals new audiences and clients. Be real, be recognizable, be consistent. And that is really the major point that I wanted to make to you. Be real, especially on TikTok. Be real. Just be yourself. Don't worry about what your hair looks like or what your makeup looks like. You could be in PJs and have the messy bun. People are interested in what you're saying. What are you guys talking about in the chat? Okay.